Hello and welcome to the St Kilda and Bayside report. We are in May, or actually probably June.
We're on the cusp, Gary.
We're right into it. May, June, we've got autumn-winter edition. My name is Gary Peer.
Yes, it is. I'm Jeremy Rosens, and welcome, viewers. What an exciting episode we've got today, Gary.
Well, it is exciting, Mr.
There's a lot
Rosens,
happening.
because we've got this weekend coming up.
Yes.
It's action-packed. Then we've got the weekend before we just had this action-packed. Then there's a little bit of a breather over that Queen's
A
birthday.
lull, Gary.
And then it's right into the winter action, Jeremy.
It is into the winter action. I don't know if I'm ready for winter yet. I don't have my long johns and my skivvies and my gloves, but I can get them soon.
We're not in
There's a thought.
Yeah, we're not in Alaska, mate. We're just in Melbourne. Take it easy.
It's pretty cold, Gary.
It does get cold, doesn't it? But the market is certainly not cold.
It is not.
What about all those reports and stories? You know, there's a lot of negative press going on
Doom
about
and
what
gloom.
we do.
What is the balance wrong with
I'm
people?
not talking about the things we do outside of work.
No, this is
I'm
work-related,
talking about
industry-related, Gary.
Industry-related issues, Jeremy. I've got to say that, you know, the weekend we've just had, how about that? Let's just talk about all those knockers and negative people about the weekend we've had. Do you want to share some facts with us?
I reckon there's two yardsticks for us, Gary, and I think the market looks at both clearance rates, but what they're not looking at is how many people are bidding. And I think we did a quick calculation.
We did, Mr. Rosens, and there was 50 people left over, we worked out. And then
I think it was 52 even, Gary.
It was 42 plus 8, it was 50. And then there was another 20 properly sold or thereabouts. So that's 70 bidders on the weekend. So for those people that are maybe...
The naysayers.
Those people that are the doomsayers, I think, or those that are negative about the market, that's 70 bidders last weekend, of which 20 were successful and 50 are around. If you think of selling, give us a call, because we've got all those names and details.
Indeed.
But there are buyers around, but of course a lot of those buyers will not pay what they maybe were paying before. Some of them are not as frenetic in their bidding. Maybe
not as anxious to buy as they were maybe 6 months ago, but the market is still moving rapidly, Gary.
We call it a market in balance, Mr. Rosens, and last weekend we had a 78% clearance rate.
Can I come back to that, Gary?
That's impressive. Just want to leave that stat lingering for just a moment. That was the moment. Go for it, yes.
You talked about a balanced market.
Yes.
Would I be correct in assuming that somewhere between 60 and 70% clearance rates is what we would call a balanced market?
I would say so. I would say that 50% is a market probably in favour of the buyer.
Yep.
I'd say 50 to 60 is probably a market showing a little bit of softening.
Yes.
I think 60 to 70 is a market in balance, and 70 plus probably.
Well, 70 to 80 is
good,
and 80 is great.
I reckon 70 to 80 is actually probably a vendor's market, but across the industry, it was just sitting around 60%. So I think I would call that.
And would I be correct in assuming, Gary, that just last weekend we were just kind of in that high 70s, 80s?
We were just a little bit better than the industry, Jeremy. And
a little bit better, like 20% better?
30% better than the industry, but you know, who's bragging? We are. Anyway, let's talk about some of the results, some of the things that happened.
Well, Gary, I think it would be crazy for us not to talk about where we filmed last month.
It'd be remiss of us.
Because that was as cool a home as you'll find, Gary, in Farrar Street.
Cool and funky, wasn't it?
394, Gary, 394. We had a couple of bidders there competing for that one. Sold for $1,612,000. Well done to Michael Jonas.
Yes,
who keeps getting records set.
He can't help
whether
himself.
it be in St Kilda, Elwood, or Albert Park.
He can't get out of his own way of success, can he, that boy?
He's doing some good stuff.
Good luck to him. Tell us about some other sales, because viewers want to know the feel of the market, what's been happening, for how much.
9 at 332 Dandenong Road, Gary, in St Kilda East. I took that one to auction, and again, competitive auction had, I think, 3 bidders on the market and sold for 566, which I don't think you would get a better result when everybody was talking about how great the market was.
Probably not. We move on to that fantastic address that's known as Sidwell Avenue.
We did, Gary. We had a lovely town residence. We talked about that in great length. That was, again, another competitive auction. 3 bidders sold 1660, Gary. And in between that auction and the Dandenong Road auction, I went and auctioned an apartment for Nikki and Lemore at 23 at 55 Hotham Street.
Oh, yeah, big apartment.
Massive apartment. Sold 655, Gary. So some really, and competitive again.
Now, they say orange is the new black, but for someone, orange is their new home. Because someone has bought in Orange Grove and someone's moving out.
I got to tell you, Gary, your segues have really gone to the next level. They used to be.
I'm giving up real estate, just going straight into advertising.
I think it's beautiful the way you did that. Beautiful the way you did that.
Thanks. I'll take any compliment you're handing out, because I know what's to come shortly after.
Oh no, Gary, this episode I promised a lot of people that I'm going to be respectful to you and and I won't talk about all your negative attributes.
Fair enough. You said you're going to be respectful. So that's why I've had so many staff members walking around pointing at me and laughing about
Well, I've told them. I just haven't said anything about today.
Tell
anyway, 11 Orange Grove, Gary. That was an interesting property. A quirky architecturally designed home. We didn't sell it at auction. But as always, Gary, it never takes us too long to find the right buyer to pay the right price for the right home.
On that, let's just talk about our total clearance rate in the St Kilda and Bayside area, in the office that you are the king of.
Well,
so when you look over your throne,
it's not a kingdom, Gary.
It's a fiefdom. When you look at the results and you see the clearance rates, what are the total clearance rates, say, for the year this year?
90%, Gary.
Okay, so we're not.
And by the way, the extra 10% isn't that it's unsold, it's just unsold at the moment, it's still ongoing. So we're running pretty close to, if we sell everything that we've got now, we'll be running pretty close to 100%, Gary.
Very good. Things are still
it's a
moving.
Good stat.
What else we sold that we can share?
Well, we had those beautiful 2 houses in Holroyd Avenue, Gary.
But the price undisclosed.
Yeah, so let's not even bother
only
talking
just the
about
boast value that we sold that made that big sale. So let's move on.
Well, how about we talk about that
boast.
gorgeous older style apartment at 4 at 60 Carlisle Street that we sold.
That was a popular one too.
I don't mind saying, I'm not sure whether we should, but the vendor there happened to be in the same business as us.
And that's not the only one we sold.
Well, we're not talking about the other one because we're going
to talk about the other one without talking about the other one. The other one was a director of a real estate company, a very well-known one, and he again engaged the services of yourself and our company. So when you become the agent's agent, or you are the agent's agent, is the ultimate compliment. But you are also on show, and your performance is being monitored and watched at the highest level.
Judged.
So tell us about that one in Carlisle.
You know, that was a great auction. We did it out the back. It was a cold morning, but the sun was out, and we had 4 bidders going for that. In fact, I think the vendor tried to sell this about 18 months ago, and the best that he got was about 350. And we went and sold it for 450, Gary.
How dare us do that? Let's move on. You've got another terrific address here in Ellesmere Road, Windsor. We do a bit in Prahran, Windsor, don't we?
We do a hell of a lot, Gary.
Yeah, we do.
What are you talking about a little bit? We had a 1-bedroom flat which sold for $385,000, Gary.
And we just sold one last night too. It's still subject
in the same block, Gary. We're not talking about it because it's there is a
final deal, but but it's as good as a done deal.
I would think so.
It's extraordinary. What did you touch here? You think you've got a piece in there?
No, I've got security are just telling me what's happening outside.
Okay, let's move on to our next sale there. Let's move on.
That was good, Gary. That one. That was a really good. Let's do that next time.
This is live.
Yeah,
this is live.
That's what it is, Gary.
And I've got to say, by the way, you are the agent's agent, but if they're watching this show, I think they're just going to forget about it because they don't know about all that oral stuff going on. Let's just oral. No, it's not oral. Is it? What is it when it's your ear?
Audible.
Is it neural?
Audible, Gary. Audible. It's how you should read books. And clearly, with your lack of articulation, not reticulation, you're not so good at that either.
Well, let's face it. If we were good students, we wouldn't have become real estate agents.
No,
you don't wear a suit and tie on a Sunday if you're
not on a Sunday, Gary.
No.
I think that pretty much. I think we can put to bed the jokes now. That's everything that we've. Well, that's a sample of some of the highlights of last month.
Champagne humour that those
quality,
people,
Gary.
The people that watch this show enjoy both of the people that watch because I think
they're not watching to be completely stimulated by our humour. I wouldn't have thought, Gary, nor our good looks.
I think they're watching to know what's coming up for auction. What offerings do we have to share with our viewers? What are the little bit of a selection, a smorgasbord, a assortment of some of our best offerings coming up?
If I'm not mistaken, Gary, that puts you now at 2 quality segues.
It's all happening.
We should have a little marker on the side here for Gary's segues.
And then we'll a little bit of a bell that goes off.
Well, I think what we should do, Gary, is talk about where we are.
Let's see if Visual Domain gives us a bell. How about a bell? Yes. Maybe a buzzer. Yes, or maybe another sound like something crazy.
I want a cow. The thing that.
Okay, we'll do that sound or cowbell. This has become very juvenile.
Yes. Let's talk about where we are, Gary, because we're
back to school.
Not only one of the best locations that Melbourne has to offer, but this is one of the best. This is one of the best apartments that I've seen. It's a great block.
The camera only shows us. But to our right, we have a agent who's very well known from the eastern suburbs of Sydney.
I do believe that is correct,
actually
Gary.
Watching the show. We're being observed and watched.
We can't show you his face though.
No, you can't.
For legal reasons.
But he is a very well known agent. Now he's walked in here to this property here, and we've said to him, what's this worth in Sydney? And what's the figure that he's put on it?
1.6 to 1.7.
So if you're going to move this property and just take an hour's flight and move the property up north to Sydney, you're going to be paying how much more than you'll be paying here? Because what's the range? And tell us about the property.
Well, we're quoting 820 to 900, Gary.
Where are we, by the way?
Let's shelve the Sydney talk because, to be honest, Gary, someone who wants to buy this beautiful home in Elwood doesn't want to go to Sydney.
It's better here anyway.
Of course it's
Dirty
better.
Streets.
Of course it's better.
Insincere people.
And agents that just they don't know what they're talking about. But nevertheless, 5 at 30 Tennyson Street,
Except for the one in the room.
This is a gorgeous period apartment.
Yes.
The block itself, a fantastic facade, got great presence on the street, tree-lined avenue out the front, Then when you come out the back here, we've got this living area, Gary, that seems to go on for days, and it spills out to this amazing, I mean, you can see it's sun-soaked at the moment, a gorgeous terrace, courtyard garden, whatever you'd like to call it, al fresco entertaining area. This apartment is as good as it gets, Gary. 820 to 900. We've got good interest in this home, and why wouldn't we in the heart of Elwood, Gary? Because you can go over there to Carlisle or Acland Street, you can go there to the beach, you can go there to Brighton, cafes, restaurants, nightlife, you name it, Gary.
Tram up there. Park over there.
Yep.
It doesn't get better than where we are.
2 car spaces here, Gary. So if you don't want to go by public transport, you can have a couple of cars here.
And this is an area now where parking's at a premium.
At a premium, Gary. At a premium. Going to auction this Saturday at 11:30.
Don't have much time, viewers. You better get your roller skates on and get over here. This is a ripper. And who's doing the auction?
I'll do it, Gary.
Very good. So we're looking forward to seeing you in action this Saturday. Now this Sunday there's some good auctions as well, and there's nothing more exciting than Acland Street St Kilda. It is one of the best known strips in the whole of Australia.
And I reckon this part of Acland Street is the best part of Acland Street.
That's not a part of Acland Street.
Well,
that's just a space between your hands. Go on. This part of Acland, the part of Acland Street this apartment situated in is what he meant to say.
All of a sudden, you've picked up the English language just like that.
Exactly
Anyway,
right.
this is the old Deverollies. Do you remember?
Yep.
It's now called the Abbey Row. So there's a great block of apartments there.
Good story around Deverollies too. We'll leave that for another day.
We should leave that for another day,
But
Gary.
go on, tell us about
anyway, this is a studio apartment with a car space that fronts Acland Street. It's on the first floor.
Oh, right.
Pretty sure it's the first floor, maybe the second floor. Yes, it is the first. No, it's the second floor, this one. This is a great, beautifully done.
Knowledge is right up there. That's good. Go on, tell us more about.
This is a great apartment, Gary. Studio apartment, going to sell for about
overlooking
$350.
Acland Street,
overlooking Acland, right in the heart. Whether it's Airbnb or whether it's
around $350.
Yeah.
That sounds like good value to me.
It's studio apartment. This is as good as it gets.
Well, make sure you get there because that building was all sold out, wasn't it? And,
all sold out, Gary. A bit to do with all selling it out.
It did. Talbot Avenue is a very lovely tree-lined avenue. It is leading up to Green Meadows Park.
Green Meadows Park, Gary. Probably somewhere when you were younger, you used to knock around in Green Meadows Park and la 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 la.
Yeah, I did. I did la 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 la.
Yeah, I bet you did.
It was a great spot, and I loved that park, Jeremy. I just have you know, I used to ride my bike around there when I was young, and I used to la 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 la. Keep going. Talk about
Wouldn't hurt for you to hop on a bike nowadays, I tell you.
Talk about the apartment, please.
This apartment, Gary, this is huge. It's an entire ground floor. It's almost house-sized proportions. It's its own entry.
Massive.
We're suggesting a price somewhere around 1.4, 1.54. This is just immaculate buying, whether you're a downsizer or a first home buyer. You're probably better off buying this than you are a lot of houses in St Kilda East.
You are. That's a beauty. Lisa Albers and Todd Schulberg handling that one.
Todd? Not Josh.
No, Todd Schulberg, I've only known him for about 30 years. Let's move on to Grey Street.
Gary, I've got to tell you, this apartment in Grey Street is a studio apartment. We seem to have 2 of them, I'm not sure. We've become the studio apartment experts.
Kings of Melbourne. Tell us.
We've had this open one weekend, Gary, and we had 60-odd guests through here.
They weren't all odd. I mean, some of the people might have been okay. I mean, I know that you get a lot of odd people in St Kilda, but anyway, keep going.
I like what you did there. I like what you did. 60, roughly around 60 great
they weren't rough people either. Go on. They were 60 people through.
Anyway, it's arguably larger than your average studio apartment.
But I've got to tell you, I'm just looking at that photo. It's such a pretty place, isn't it? Really pretty place. A really hot location and really very affordable price range.
18 at 33 Grey Street, Gary. We've got a courtyard garden there as well. We're suggesting a bit of interest over $200,000.
Oh, that's a great opportunity, isn't it?
And that's going to auction on the 16th of June, Gary, with myself.
Day before my son's birthday. Let's move on to Orong Road. Tell us about that one.
Let's do this, Gary, because Orong Road is a great apartment. You would probably arrive to work, and if you looked out your front door, if you weren't so busy,
that block well. No, it will.
You'd find this. It's opposite the Woolworths, Gary.
And that's a snap purchase, 4 to 440.
Snap purchase. You won't go wrong, Gary.
No, couldn't possibly. Two
Investors,
bedrooms.
owner-occupied, 2-bedroom, 1 bathroom.
4 to 440. Sounds like a buy. Get down and check that one out.
Gary, I want to talk about this apartment in Williams Road, apartment 6 at 38 Williams Road. The reason why I want to talk about it, it's called, I think it's Picton.
Oh no, that is a
refurbished
iconic
block.
property, isn't it?
It has been refurbished.
It's a landmark.
So beautifully. And there's a gallery inside the apartment block.
Yeah, you need those.
I mean, I don't know
you don't
when
see
the last time
around.
you went to a gallery. If we were talking about galleries, I think your partner Philip would probably be a little bit more well versed on all things cultural, because all you're busy doing is eating it. I've got to be nice.
Does the men's gallery does that account for a gallery? Not that I'm saying I've ever been there, but I've heard about that gallery. I just haven't heard about too many others.
So the people that haven't heard of the men's gallery and don't know what the men's gallery is,
we'll just leave it there.
Might think that it's something completely different to what the men's gallery actually is, which would make you perceived even more oddly than you've already been perceived.
Okay.
Now, let's talk about the men's gallery.
There.
Let's talk about this apartment, because this is on the 17th of June.
Yep.
This is at the back of the block, overlooks the park.
Yes.
As I said, it's got a gallery in there. It's got beautifully refurbished apartments. The outside is superb. It's an iconic block and architecturally designed by some of Melbourne's best architects.
Looking forward to that one coming to the market. If you want to see something exceptional, call us about that one or come to one of the open for inspections.
That'd be a good idea.
That is a big wrap on the St Kilda and Bayside report. There's a lot happening. We've got some new people who have joined our team as well.
Arthur Vainbrandt.
So welcome to you, Arthur. Welcome.
I call
to the
him
team.
about 6 different variations.
And there's another lady that started as well, who's joined
Paige
Nikki.
Negus.
Paige Negus, don't forget.
Lovely
Any
young lady.
relation to George?
I asked her that.
Yeah,
and she said she declined to comment, which made me think that she probably... No, it's a joke.
Declined to comment.
You know,
Very
like
good,
a
yes.
reporter, yep.
I got it.
See what
That
I
was
did
good.
there?
Segue
No,
me
she's
back.
apparently no relation to Mr.
Mr.
George Negus.
Fair enough. It's good to have a Negus on our team. Welcome to the company. We've got a couple of new people. We are forever expanding and growing, and the story continues.
It does, Gary.
We are now in our 6th year of trade. I think we are.
Gary. I don't keep count.
They go so fast. You're having too much fun. And who wouldn't have fun being in St
Although,
Kilda and
I've got
Bayside and surrounds?
I've got a few grey hairs.
Yeah,
I
well,
don't
it's
think I
about
had
time.
them before I started.
No, before you met me, that's for sure.
That's a whole other story.
That's a big wrap on the St Kilda and Bayside report. We'll look forward to bringing you the June news when we speak at the end of June or in July. But certainly the market is still full of good opportunities.
In good shape, Gary.
In good shape indeed. We look forward to bringing
Unlike
you the news. And we look forward to bringing you the news. I'll let you go. I'll let you off with that one.
I'll get
you back next month.
The whole time.
That is the news.
That's a wrap.
The GP St Kilda and Bayside report. I'm Gary Peer.
I'm Jeremy. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time.